Tonight on American Report, a newly surfaced fundraising email buried in the House Oversight Committee's 20,000-page Epstein document dump shows a top Democratic firm pitching then-freshman Hakeem Jeffries to Jeffrey Epstein as Brooklyn's Barack. On the surface, these files were supposed to turn up the heat on President Trump and House Republicans, with Jeffries out front demanding full disclosure. But this Epstein-directed pitch for a major Democratic fundraising push is now fueling charges of hypocrisy against the House Minority Leader, even as there's still no public evidence of any Epstein donation or direct contact. Let's start with where this email actually comes from, because that part alone most people have already tuned out. On November 12th, the GOP-led House Oversight Committee dumped roughly 20,000 pages of Jeffrey Epstein estate documents onto the public, hosted through big cloud drives. Most headlines just said massive Epstein document release and moved on. What most people missed is that this Jeffries email is part of that same estate production, not some random screenshot, but material that appears to come out of a formal congressional document dump. Inside that mountain of paperwork is the message that set off this latest firestorm, a 2013 fundraising email from Democratic firm SRG, now known as Dynamic SRG, addressed to Jeffrey Epstein. In it, then-freshman Congressman Hakeem Jeffries is described as Brooklyn's Barack, and Epstein is invited to a dinner and urged to call a Manhattan phone number if he wants to get involved or meet Jeffries. On the surface, that looks like standard high-dollar donor outreach, a fundraising shop pitching a rising star to a wealthy contact. But the context is what makes it explosive. By 2013, Epstein was already a convicted sex offender, and today, Jeffries is House Minority Leader and one of the loudest voices demanding full transparency on the Epstein files. And that's where everything starts to feel different. Because here's the part almost nobody talks about. This wasn't some fringe outfit freelancing in the dark. Dynamic SRG is a mainstream Democratic fundraising and political consulting shop built to work for top Democrats at every level. The phone number in that email matches contact data for Dynamic SRG in a Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee master list, tied to a firm email address. Another sign this really does look like a genuine SRG communication, not a random graphic someone whipped up online. Inside the professional political world, blasting solicitations to any rich person in a Rolodex is just how the game is played. But when that rich person is Jeffrey Epstein, the everyone does fundraising like this defense collides head-on with the optics of a party that has spent years portraying itself as morally outraged by anything connected to his name. And this next detail changes the whole picture. Because Hakeem Jeffries hasn't just been a background character in the Epstein transparency fight, he's been one of its central narrators. As House Minority Leader, he's called for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth on Epstein and accused Republicans of running a pedophile protection program by dragging their feet on releasing the files. He's framed the issue as a moral test for the GOP and for President Trump, painting Democrats as the side demanding sunlight while Republicans hide something in the shadows. So when an old fundraising email surfaces showing Jeffries being pitched directly to Epstein by his own party's fundraising machine, it doesn't just look bad, it cuts straight against the brand he's been building. Here's where everything takes a turn. At the same time, the evidence we have right now is very specific and very limited, and that's a nuance most viral posts are skipping. There's no public record showing Epstein actually donated to Jeffries. There's no proof of any direct contact between the two men. What we have, based on screenshots and transcriptions shared by reputable reporters, is a solicitation from Jeffries' fundraising firm to Epstein, an invitation, not a receipt. So the real question is, what matters more in this moment? The optics of having knocked on Epstein's door, or the fact that there's no documented money or personal relationship behind it? And this is all dropping at the exact moment the Epstein saga was supposed to be turning up the heat on someone else. Those same newly released documents include emails where Epstein claims Trump knew about the girls, ramping up pressure on President Trump and House Republicans. That pressure forced a political reversal, with Trump now urging House Republicans to vote to release the files he previously resisted. Democrats, led by figures like Jeffries, have leaned into that split as proof the GOP is in turmoil over transparency. Now, this 2013 fundraising pitch is emerging inside that larger fight, giving Republicans and critics a ready-made hypocrisy counterattack. The man accusing them of hiding Epstein's secrets once had a fundraising machine trying to bring Epstein into his donor circle. What happens next is going to show whether this stays a one-day embarrassment or becomes a long-running test of how both parties handle transparency when the spotlight swings back on them. In the end, this isn't just about one email. It's about whether either party is willing to live by the standards they've weaponized against their opponents. How does this look to you? Routine fundraising, or a warning sign about how power really operates? This is American Report. Stay informed because the next disclosure could shift this fight all over again.